Hey guys, it's Sarah. Thank you so much for watching. So today I wanted to bring you a dedicated review and wear test on the Pacifica Alight Clean Foundation. This foundation has been out, I think, since probably the beginning of 2019, is my guess. So it's a pretty new foundation to the market. I just recently purchased it and I've been testing it out over the last couple of weeks, so this is not a first impression. I will be doing a demo of me applying it on camera, and then also doing a few check-ins throughout the day to show you kind of how it wears, and I'll share my overall thoughts and let you know what I think of it, who I think would enjoy this foundation, who I think should probably stay away from it, etc. So I'm gonna go ahead and start applying it, and I'll share some specific details on it as I'm applying it. I wear sunscreen on my face every day, so I've been testing this over a few different sunscreens that I have. Some sunscreens I found it just doesn't get along well with, but the one I have that it does get along best with is the Ulta SPF 30 Mineral Matte Tinted Face Lotion. My SPFs that are more on the dewy side, I feel like this just doesn't seem to play well with those. So this is the one I've had the best luck with, and I want to give this foundation the best chance of looking good today. So I already have this on my face. It's been on for a couple hours actually, and it is 10:45. I don't know if you can even see that. It's 10:45 in the morning, and so we're gonna give this hopefully a full day of wear. I have that SPF on already. Next thing I found that I really like wearing in combination with this, and really with any foundation, is the Pixie Glow Mist. This is kind of like a mist that you can use either as a primer or a setting spray or both. I'm gonna use it kind of as a primer today because I feel like since the matte sunscreen is a little bit drying on me, this kind of gives my skin a little bit of hydration without being too dewy and greasy for this foundation. To give a generous, generous amount of that and kind of let that sink in. I have this giant cold sore on my lip, don't mind that. So I'm gonna apply this on one side with a sponge and one side with a brush just so we can kind of see if there's a difference. So I'll be using just my original Beauty Blender and my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, which is kind of a dense foundation brush. So I have the shade 38 NF, which is described as a neutral fair, and I feel like this is pretty much the perfect shade for me when I'm not self-tanned. When I am self-tanned, I do have to add a little bit of a deepener to it. So I pretty much just use one full pump to cover my whole face. I think I got kind of an air bubble with that pump, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more. So that's a full pump right there. So you can see there, it's not super liquidy, but it's not completely solid and thick either. It's kind of just in between. So I'm going to just kind of dot this around my face. I'm gonna do the Beauty Blender on this side and the brush on the other side. So a few details about this foundation. It retails for $16 and it comes with 0.9 fluid ounces. Most foundations are 1 fluid ounce, so you are getting a little bit less product than you would with most. Comes in a really nice like frosted glass bottle. Feels really heavy and well made and luxurious. As far as I can see, it's sold at Ulta, Target, and then of course on Pacifica's website. And it's $16 at all of those places. So I think those are the only places you can get it. I've seen it in stores at Ulta and Target as well. I don't think it's sold anywhere else, and online those are the only retailers that have it. It comes in 30 shades. It has a pretty good shade range from what I can see. It looks like each shade has a number and then 2 letters, either C, W, or N for cool, warm, or neutral. And then it's fair, light, medium, deep, and rich, I think are what the letters stand for. So this is probably the best shade range Pacifica has ever put out, which is awesome. I'm going with the brush on this side. As far as the claims, it says, get the flawless coverage of your dreams in 30 shades, designed for real skin tones. Innovative, non-comedogenic, dermatologist-tested formula goes on smooth, covers pores, and lasts throughout the day. It's free of silicone, parabens, phthalates, talc, BHA, BHT, petroleum, and drying alcohols, blah, blah, blah. They say flawless, seamless coverage, which really could mean anything. I've heard a lot of people say that this is full coverage. Skin feels clean. I don't really know. A lot of kind of broad and vague claims here. More radiant, healthy looking skin, pore-free appearance, and vibrant, lasts day to night. So basically I think what they're saying is it kind of masks the appearance of pores and it should be long lasting. And then it says after 6 weeks of use, skin looks more healthy and skin feels smoother. I haven't been using it for a full 6 weeks, so I can't really confirm that, but I mean, it's kind of just whatever. Yeah, so here it is on, those are all the claims and all the details. I'm not getting full coverage with one pump. I would say it's more medium. I would say it looks pretty nice. I'm getting kind of a satin finish, but I will say I've also tested this with a couple of other sunscreens, the Supergoop Everyday Sunscreen and the Mineral Fusion SPF 40 sunscreen, which I don't have in front of me, but I'll put a picture on the screen. With the Mineral Fusion one especially, it looked so greasy that I have to say though, that Mineral Fusion sunscreen is very greasy on its own, but this foundation on top of that, my skin was so greasy that no amount of powder could soak up the amount of greasiness on my skin. And I'm not someone who really minds kind of a dewy look, but that was like way too much for me. So I didn't really like it with the Supergoop sunscreen either. This isn't a foundation that's going to like mask the appearance of like oiliness or dewiness on your skin. So I feel like if you have oily skin, it might be worth a try with a mattifying primer or like what I did with a mattifying sunscreen, but I don't know if you would love it if you don't like the look of like kind of a dewy finish. But for me right now with the Ulta SPF and the Pixie Glow Mist, I really like this combination. This is like my sweet spot in terms of like finish. And I forgot to say, my skin type is kind of normal to slightly dry. This time of year it's really just normal. So I don't know, should I build up some more just to see how much more coverage I can get? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I haven't really done this yet, but I kind of do want to see. Some people, like I was watching Tati's video where she tested this and she was like, oh my gosh, it's full coverage. It's like the fullest coverage ever. And I was like, I don't know, when I wear it, I mean, it looked really full coverage on her, but then again, she doesn't really have that much to cover. So I don't know, but for me, I would say it's a high medium coverage. I don't feel like there's much of a difference coverage-wise between the brush side and the sponge side. Like, it's kind of, with some foundations, the sponge will kind of soak up too much of it, but I don't really feel like I have that problem with this, which is good for me because I do prefer to use a sponge. So there we are with like 1.5 pumps. So I would say that is high coverage. You can still see some of my like acne scars peeking through, and I have a little freckle right there that you can still kind of see. So still not the fullest coverage ever, but I would say it's high coverage. Yeah, so I mean, definitely looks like I'm wearing foundation, which is one thing about this, you know, it is going to look more like you're wearing makeup. It's not like my Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation where I feel like it just looks so skin-like and so natural on my skin. This is, it's a little bit heavier. But I think that that's kind of, you know, that's kind of the point. Oh, and it says oil-free, I forgot to say the claims on the bottle, oil-free, anti-shine. I would disagree with that. And satin finish. So I do agree with the satin finish, but sometimes it can be very dewy depending on what you have under it. So I'm gonna finish off with some concealer. I'm using my e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. There's that concealer. I'm going to set my under eyes with the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. And I'm going to do a light dusting all over the face with the Physicians Formula Healthy Powder. This is newer to me. I think I like it better than the Milani powder, and like I said, I want to give this foundation the best chance I can because it's been a little finicky, so I'm trying to give it a chance. And I'm just going to do a very light dusting, but I'm going to put it all over the face. I like that this powder kind of lets like the satin finish still shine through. It's not completely mattifying. That's what I prefer in a powder. Okay, so here we are. A little bit of my skin is still peeking through. I've got a little remnants of a zit on my nose that you can still see. Little zit right here. Some acne scarring you can still see. Freckle. Yeah. But as far as the finish, I'm really happy with the finish right now. I think it looks really nice. I don't think it looks overly cakey right now. I don't think it's really accentuating my pores. It is already settling a little bit into my smile lines, but that is one thing I've noticed with this foundation. I think it's just because it's a heavier foundation and it's kind of an emollient formula. It really does settle into fine lines. It even will sometimes settle into my forehead lines, and I don't really normally have that problem with foundation, so just keep that in mind. Maybe if you have a really good like pore filling or line filling primer that works for you, that would be a good thing to pair this with. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup off camera, and I'm not gonna wear any highlight today because I want any kind of shine that you're seeing on my face to just be from the foundation. And yeah, I'll be right back to show you kind of the finished look. Okay, so it's 11:30, it's been on for about half an hour now while I was doing the rest of my makeup. And again, you can still see where it's settling into my smile lines. I don't see any settling, well, there's a tiny bit of settling happening on my forehead too. That's kind of just one of those things you have to deal with this foundation. There's that. Sorry about my gross cold sore. It's at the like really gross drying out stage right now. There's that. My forehead. Pores are looking pretty good, I'd say. I like the way that looks. I'm sure you never wanted to see my face in that much detail, but there you go. So I think I'm gonna film another video today, and let's see, so it's 11:30. I'll probably check in at some point mid-afternoon, and then I'll check in again before bed, and we'll kind of see how it ends up wearing throughout the day. But there we go. I will talk to you guys in a few hours. All right, hey guys, it is about 4 o'clock now. It's 4:04, and so that means it's been about 5 hours. And I think I'm looking pretty good. I haven't done much today. I've been home this whole time. I've been kind of like preparing to film, and I ate some lunch. Dimmed the light a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I feel like, you know, as far as the finish goes, I'm really not getting very oily at all. My nose is like a tiny bit shiny, but I really don't think that's like oil necessarily. I think that's more just the finish of the foundation. The only thing is it is settling a lot into my smile lines. It hasn't really gotten much worse on my forehead, but there you can see just how much it's settled into that smile line. Nose. My pores still look pretty good. It hasn't really worn off, except for a little bit on my upper lip because I had on one lip color and then I removed it with a tissue, so it did kind of lift up some of the foundation there. This zit is really cropping up today. Otherwise, I'd say it looks pretty good. A little bit shiny, but really nothing major. I don't feel like I would need to blot right now. I mean, I never really blot my face, but yeah, that's where we are. I'm happy with the way it looks right now. I am gonna kind of rub out where it's kind of settled right there, just because it looks really bad, honestly. I just wanted to leave it there so you could see, but I'm gonna kind of pat that in. I would say it's looking a little bit dry around this region right here where I have that zit. I have this cold sore, or maybe it's a zit, I don't even know what that is. But everywhere else I'm actually really happy with the way that it looks. I don't really feel like it's accentuating any pores or anything like that. Sometimes as foundation wears, it'll start to look more dry. I don't feel like this one is there right now. I think it's still looking pretty good. So 5 hours in, again, haven't been super active yet. I am about to go run some errands and stuff. So I'll try to check in around 10 or 10:30 so we can get a good like 12-hour wear test out of this. That is it, I think, for this check-in. I will talk to you guys in a few hours. Okay, so we are back. It is exactly 10:30. I am so tired and so ready to take off this makeup, but I persisted so that I could bring you a full, almost 12-hour wear test. I think it would have been exactly 12 hours if I'd made it to 11, but it's not gonna happen. So this is where we are. You know, it doesn't look the best. Like, I'm definitely ready to take it off. So here's kind of a close-up. The lighting is not great because it's nighttime, but once again, just kind of, ugh, I don't like the way that looks, don't look at that. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really broken down much. It's still on my face. I just kind of feel like it's sitting on my skin. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's the worst looking after 12 hours. It certainly could be way worse, but it's also, it's not, I mean, I'm ready to take it off, you know? So basically, final thoughts on this foundation. I kind of have mixed feelings on it. In some ways I really like it. There have been times where I see my face from like far away in the mirror and I'm like, wow, that looks really good, or it looks really good on camera in videos, but then I look at it up close and I'm like, it maybe doesn't look as good as I thought it did. Or, you know, it can just look a little bit heavy, and I think that's kind of to be expected with any kind of higher coverage foundation. And again, I really think it's a matter of figuring out the best combination of what to wear underneath it and how to kind of prep your skin. So things I really like about this foundation are, it comes in a really wide shade range. It's got really nice packaging, really nice pump. It's vegan, it's cruelty-free. Oh, I forgot to mention the smell. It doesn't have a strong smell. A little bit of like a suntan lotion kind of smell. Kind of like a, I don't know, like a sunscreen that I wore during my childhood. But it doesn't have any SPF in it, so I'm not really sure what that smell is. It definitely has a little bit of a scent, but it's nothing crazy. So, I don't know, I feel like I've had days where this looked, you know, like really high coverage on my skin, and other days where it was like just kind of medium coverage. So I don't really know, I don't understand why that is. Like I'm blending it into my hand right now, and it really does look like really high coverage, but then you can still see my skin kind of showing through. So I don't know, I feel like I'm having a hard time figuring this foundation out, but I don't know, it's not gonna be my favorite by any means. I think that it's kind of finicky. Like I can only wear it with certain sunscreens, for example. You know, I'm sure certain primers would work better under it than others. I'm really not that big into primers, but I do think a matte base actually works best under this, which is weird because I usually go for like a more dewy, hydrated base underneath my foundation, but I feel like sometimes with this it can just look very shiny and very dewy. So I think that it actually does work best with a more like matte, either matte primer or matte SPF. So I am going to continue to wear this foundation. I think the occasions when I'll wear it will be most likely on days when I'm filming and I want my skin to look a little bit more flawless. I don't know, I feel like today I'm not having a great skin day today, but a lot of times it does look a lot better on camera than it does in person, so I think I'll probably stick to those kinds of days. And then I'll probably wear it on days where I'm just looking for more coverage and I don't mind looking like I am definitely wearing foundation. Most of the time I go for my Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, and that one is still my favorite over this one. But this one I think will still have a place in my routine. It's just a little bit more finicky for me. Like I have to be in the right mood to wear it, or it has to be the right kind of day for me to want to wear it. I wouldn't wear this on like a casual day when I'm like going to the beach or something. Like I think it would just be a little too heavy for that. I think it can still serve a purpose for me. I don't think it's going to be my favorite. Maybe I'll change my mind eventually. I've only been really wearing it for like 2 weeks, so again, I might change my mind and I'll definitely keep you posted, but that's my thoughts on it right now. I feel like I covered everything. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I can try to answer if I forgot to mention anything, but thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it's so late, I feel like I'm not quite as coherent as normal. Shh. But I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.